What's going on, guys? This is Pixel Dan sitting here at the 2019 New York Toy Fair and here with my good friend Dan Larson of Toy Galaxy. What's up, Dan?
How's it going? It's going great.
I am exhausted. I don't know about you. It's been a pretty crazy couple days, but this is your very first Toy Fair, right?
This is my first Toy Fair, so all of this experience was brand new to me. It has been enlightening, it has been educational, it has been intimidating at times, but it's been a lot of fun mostly.
Yeah, this is my favorite toy show of the year. Like, well, it's not a toy show in like what everybody's thinking as far as like toy shows go. What is that noise?
It's a dinosaur.
There's a dinosaur roaring over there. I don't even know if this picked it up, but that dinosaur roar is loud. But I go to a lot of different shows throughout the year, you know, be it Comic-Cons or toy shows or whatever. But this is like my favorite of all of these. It's very different. It's very business oriented. But I don't know. I love the atmosphere. And I just love seeing like all the cool stuff, even if it's not like mainstream as much, but like, I don't know, it's neat to see the creative side of the toy industry. And I think that's what's so fun about this.
Oh, sure. And being able to talk to those people, you know, those people who are actually involved with it on a day-to-day basis, and they're not just trying to sell you the actual item in their hand, you know, that's not really what this is all about. They're trying to sell you on the whole brand, the whole experience, the process, and getting to see that kind of stuff is really what keeps me enthusiastic about it. And like you said, it's really neat to just be able to see the stuff and with a slightly smaller crowd. You know, there's a lot of activity, but it is as, you know, more of a trade show. You do have a little bit more time to spend with those items and really get to get into the nuances, and you have the person standing right there if you need to ask some questions.
Absolutely.
It's a really neat experience.
It's really cool. And I'm like a fan of just the industry as a whole, you know, so I know we all have like our favorite like toy lines that we like or specific action figures that we go for, but I don't know, like the industry has always been so fascinating to me in general. So sometimes kind of getting to see like this part of the process is just really cool and fun. So I thought it might be neat if we just kind of sit down and talk about some of the fun things we saw, some of our favorite things we saw, anything unique maybe that you noticed.
Absolutely.
And just kind of run down stuff like that. So let's just start there. What are some of the highlights for you at the show so far?
The biggest highlight was Super 7's line, The Worst. They've got Wave 2 coming out. If you're not familiar with that line, please check it out. It is a fantastic bunch of figures. It's only, you know, I've posted some pictures and I get the question all the time, is this a cartoon? Is it based on a comic book? What is it? And it's like, it's just an action figure line.
Yes.
It is as pure can be when it comes to action figure lines. And those guys, Super 7, are already big fans of action figures. So that's what they put together, are figures that just appeal to people who dig action figures. So Wave 2 has the pirate skeleton. You know, I don't know what his backstory is. I don't care what his backstory is, but Captain Deadstar, that was one that just hit right there. It's a 5 POA figure, the vinyl cape, you know, he is a skull. He's wearing a skull on his hat, like, it was just a beautiful piece. Just a beautiful piece.
Well, and you know, and we kind of live in this world where like everything's a license, so people always kind of think that way, and so many people are so hung up on like collecting things that are from a movie that we know or a comic book or a cartoon. But there is so many cool things out there that aren't related to any properties that, man, you just really should pay more attention to sometimes. I think The Worst is such a great concept.
Yes, as ironic as that sounds.
Yeah. The Worst is great.
Exactly.
I was also pretty thrilled though, jumping back a little bit, with the licensed stuff that Super 7 did have, because they kind of dropped some pretty major stuff that I don't think anybody was expecting. Of course, since I'm a big Masters of the Universe fan, seeing the motion picture figures, the Dolph Lundgren He-Man, the Frank Langella Skeletor, I mean, that's mind-blowing stuff for me.
Lifetime in awaiting,
yes.
You know, like there've been all the talks and rumors over the years of why they could, why they couldn't, why Mattel might have been able to, why they couldn't, you know, could they get the likeness rights, all these sorts of things, and to show up and to see those figures, like there they are, they're done, you know. They were gorgeous. They, as much as you could possibly have asked, I thought, for them to look like those characters and fit in that classics world, they were spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, they're introducing things like the Toxic Crusader. Like, he's done in the same 7-inch style as Masters of the Universe, but like he's decoed out just like the old Playmates Toys figure, had the same accessories and everything. Like even the weird little sidekick thing was there.
Exactly.
And I couldn't believe that. And then they've got like Voltron and Conan, and apparently they're going to do Ninja Turtles in that style. I don't think anybody saw that stuff coming.
Conan was interesting because it is so tied to Barry Windsor Smith's artistic style. And it's interesting to see, is that a one-off? Are they going somewhere with that? Are they going to be other characters? Are they going to do other? Is this more about the artist's style? Is this more about the figure license, the specific character? It's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. And that's one of the reasons I really like Super 7 is there's a lot of buzz around them, on social media because they're just doing such different things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very cool. Yeah, so Super 7 had a pretty great showing. I think one of the other big highlights for me, and I think a lot of people, especially viewers on my channel, would be with NECA Toys because they always bring out some really amazing stuff with the show. They had a pretty awesome offering for Ninja Turtles with the quarter scale shredder, which is totally bonkers. Like, you saw that, right?
It was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. I don't know, like, you get lost in his eyes. Like, it's so realistic, and that cape and the sparkles and everything on it. It was just, again, like I just said with the Masters of the Universe, you couldn't have asked for it to look better. Yeah. And as far as that shredder is concerned, it's like you almost wouldn't have want any other company to take that. They're the ones you wanted to make that figure, and they did it right, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And plus then they dropped the Bebop and Rocksteady bomb on everybody. Like, they're doing straight up Fred Wolf animation Bebop and Rocksteady, and they're going to be sold at retail stores and Target. So that's like a 1-2 punch right there. Like, not only are we finally getting like accurate cartoon versions of Bebop and Rocksteady, but you'll be able to walk into Target and buy them.
Exactly. Yeah, this isn't something where you're going to have to like wait. Well, you may have to, depending on how supplies get shipped and all that sort of thing, how well the stores are stocked, you may still have to go online. But the intent, the intent is there, and it's for them to be available, in store every time you go in.
Yeah.
We'll see.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll see. I know it's been kind of hard to find a lot of the NECA stuff at Target, but I guess that's a good thing. It's selling well.
Exactly.
So that's good in their eyes for sure. So how about something that's a little more like, I don't know, something cool that you saw that maybe nobody else noticed? Can you think of anything like that, or anything that kind of caught you by surprise?
The Schleich booth, their stuff, it's non-posable for the most part. Like they do a lot of the non-posable animals, dinosaurs, those sorts of things. But they also have their fantasy line, which is just like the fire dragon and the crystal spider, and these sorts of things that in and of themselves, they're interesting, but when you put them in that Instagram community of action figure photography and ACBA and all this stuff, it's like those are perfect props for that.
Yeah.
You need a lava spider, a lava scorpion, or whatever. Those things just really catch my eye, even if they aren't particularly posable.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love going around to like all the different companies here at Toy Fair, and I know that like a lot of my viewers specifically, like they want to know the NECA news, they want to know what's going on with Turtles, so I always make sure I cover the big stuff. But I like visiting everything because I like the toy industry. And one of my favorite booths to visit every year is Moose Toys.
Yep.
I think Moose Toys makes some of the best, like, original property, like, kids stuff that's out there. Like, I was a big fan of Grocery Gang. I just thought that was such a weird, wacky toy line that I would have, like, way been into as a kid.
Yeah.
So Moose didn't have any Grocery Gang this year, and I was a little sad to see that because we've hit that point where they've just moved past it seems. But they had this new toy line that was part of their Treasure X series. And I don't know if you've seen Treasure X.
I have not.
But they're like these, they kind of have that concept where they're like these sand blocks that you have to dig into, and then you basically pull out parts of a little skeleton guy, and then you build the skeleton figure with him.
Which the digging and assembling seems to be a theme throughout a lot of companies this year.
It definitely is.
Digging through sand, digging through slime, you're digging through something to put that thing together.
It's definitely one of those trends.
Unboxing in general seemed to be a big theme.
Still, I feel like that's just hasn't really gone away. It's still a thing.
Different creative ways of opening packages and unboxing things.
Yeah. So they've got this new version of the Treasure X, which is Treasure X Aliens, and it's just one of those like things that is a total pixel Dan thing because it's so weird. So instead of digging in a block of sand, you now have like this alien where the story is like this giant alien ate this character. So you basically perform surgery on this alien.
You gotta rescue him. Yeah. Save the day.
Yeah. So it's got like little tools, and you literally have to cut into the alien's stomach. It pops this little sack inside, which sounds gross. So it's filled with slime, nice bright green slime. Slime explodes out, and then you dig through the slime with the little tools it gives you to pull out your alien minifigure and his weapon. And I was just like, I'm sold. It's amazing.
Unboxing meets alien autopsy is what's going on there.
And they're throwing in the slime, and they just got it all going on there. And I don't know, like, plus I have a 5-year-old, and I looked at that, and I was like, he's going to love that, and I'm going to love playing with that with him. Like, that's awesome. That's another reason I love this place so much.
Yeah, Toy Fair, the number one thing that I saw here was it's such a bigger industry than action figures. I know you're focused on action figures, I'm focused on action figures, but there's just so much other stuff going on here that it just wandering around, like there would be row after row, and I was like, did I even see this row yet? Like, how far does this go? There's just so many different creative toys and crafting toys and outdoor play stuff, and it was exciting to see all of that, and just everything that was going on here, whether it's something we're ever going to cover or not. It was just great to be in this environment.
Well, it's neat too because like a lot of this here are like smaller companies that are basically trying to sell the idea of their toys. They're trying to get retailers to bring them into their stores. They're trying to move this product. They're trying to get to an actual manufacturing point with their product.
Right.
So there's so much more going on here than just what Mattel has for DC or what, you know what I mean? Like there's this industry is huge, and you get to see it all right here in this building.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, as collectors especially, you get focused on what's the next Marvel Legend, what's the secret Black Series that hadn't been announced yet, and those sorts of things. Get to see that sail barge up close. But yeah, that's like you do that, you see that, the pictures are all over the place, and it's like, well, what else are you going to look at for the next 3 days of this event?
Yes.
And that's where you get into the rest of the industry, and it's just a fascinating thing.
Absolutely.
It's exciting.
Absolutely. It is really exciting. So, a lot of fun stuff, but was there anything that kind of disappointed you about Toy Fair?
Ooh, not really. No, because I came into this with no real expectations. There was a couple of little things. I wanted to meet Todd McFarlane. I got to meet Todd McFarlane.
Oh, that's
that was
so
great.
great.
I wanted to meet some of the other YouTubers, put some faces and voices to names that I just corresponded with, whether it was representatives at toy companies or designers or whatever. And then it was just to be open to the experience and see what this was all about.
Yes.
I had you can watch other people's videos, you can read about it, all those sorts of things, but just being in this environment and just the spectacle of it all, the
dinosaurs roaring again,
the ninja at the front door that keeps farting all weekend, it's just like
fart ninja. What is that?
The ghost of Jeffrey the giraffe walking around taking pictures with everybody. It's all that fun stuff that you just walk around smiling the whole time.
Absolutely. It's the same with me, and obviously hanging out with you is always great, and getting to see all these guys. We're all kind of here doing the same thing, and it is really cool just kind of like sharing war stories with each other sometimes, or just talking about the things that we liked or the things that we didn't maybe like or thought was humorous. It's definitely like a very cool social meetup for all of us that just love the same kind of thing too, so that's really great. Disappointing, I would call Mattel disappointing this year.
It was a little disappointing.
Yeah. And it's like I always love going into the Mattel showroom, and mostly they are very focused in there on their retail lines, which makes sense because let's face it, that's the biggest focus of Toy Fair in general is retail stuff, right? So it's usually a lot of Barbie and a lot of Hot Wheels, but they do usually have like real big fancy like Hot Wheels crazy tracks, and we get to watch them do that kind of stuff and that. But I really felt like their presence was kind of small this year. Like the showroom is the same big showroom, but every property was on like a tiny little table all the way through. They didn't have anything real fancy.
No.
And then we were missing a lot of the core things that I think fans were really expecting to see. There was nothing for She-Ra. There was nothing for He-Man in general, including the Castle Grayskull Mega Constructs, which like just went on pre-order before Toy Fair, and we haven't even seen
the front of it. Yeah, we don't even know what it looks like.
But it wasn't here, so I don't know what was going on. But even like the Jurassic World toys was just a small table. The DC toys was just a small table. Like they just didn't have a lot. It was kind of weird, especially after Hasbro like just shoved so much in our face.
Yeah, no, and the last year, all of 2018 was just like trying to keep up with what Hasbro was putting out. And it feels like there's more of that coming this year, especially with the acquisition of the Power Rangers license. It's just like, how are you Transformers and Star Wars and Marvel and now Power Rangers on top of that.
And Overwatch.
Yeah. Like, how are you even going to keep up with all of those releases? It really, really did. You're right. It really did feel like Mattel was kind of just fading away there. I didn't even get anything for breakfast at the...
I know. I missed the breakfast too. I was just one of those things where I was like, I'll be fine. I'll grab a bagel at the Mattel thing. And they took the food away before I even got anything.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah. That was the biggest disappointment. No breakfast. But overall, super fun show, and it's really cool hearing your experience here. Like, this is your first time. This is my 9th Toy Fair now, which is kind of crazy. I've been doing this for as long as I have, and I've seen it kind of change and evolve over these last 9 years. But the general sense of the whole thing is still about the same. And you know, the first time I came here, I had no idea what I was doing. I kind of stumbled in here. I didn't know anybody else really in the industry yet. I fumbled my way through all this. I had no idea you needed appointments for a lot of things.
Right.
So it's you know, I wanted to help you out where I could, and I'm glad you had a great experience here.
And that's the thing, is I messaged you like a month ago, and I was like, hey Dan, you've been to Toy Fair a couple of times. I've never been before. Can you just tell me everything you know?
Just
about
everything.
Toy Fair?
Tell me all of it.
I need all your contacts. I need everything. Tell me your schedule. Tell me where you're going. Because I'm just going to follow you. I'm going to shadow you the whole weekend. So thank you very much for being as accommodating as you have been.
Of course.
I really genuinely
I'm happy.
appreciate it.
Of course. I'm happy to help out. Like, as far as I'm concerned, we're all playing on the same team here, right? We're all doing this together. So I'm glad you had such a great experience. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
You got to meet Todd McFarlane. You talked about that.
That was a childhood dream. You know,
Yeah.
I've been following that guy around at. Stalking him, but I've been following him around at comic book shows for years.
Yeah.
Just there's always a line of 500 people waiting to get that autograph, and then I walk into the McFarlane booth and it's like me and 4 other people. And I'm like, I'm sticking around until I get to meet that.
Yeah.
Team. So that's something I'll take away from this as a really great memory. Of my first Toy Fair.
That's awesome.
It was very cool.
My moment was I got to meet Kevin Eastman, and so I had like kind of the similar experience with Kevin Eastman, and that was a lot of fun too. So yeah, that's the cool thing. Like, you never know really what's going to happen here or who you're going to meet, and I think that's part of the fun of the whole thing. So,
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much for sitting down and just kind of talking about it and recapping the weekend with me.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. Thank you for having me on again.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, from the 2019 New York Toy Fair, Pixel Dan and Dan Larson out.